In our previous discussions, we were addressing the issue of guidelines on other airborne diseases, and we said we will continue the other part. Welcome to another episode of Settlement with Aliola, where we give a lot of safety enlightenment topics, ranging from professional discussion to discussion that has to do with our home safety, the safety of our kids, and how to become a safety professional. Do remember to follow me on YouTube and to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Instagram so that we continue to enlighten ourselves about the safety world. My YouTube channel is at Safety World. My Instagram page at Safety World at Waliola, because it is what safety moment with Waliola. In our last discussion, we discussed about the various diseases that are airborne in the construction site. We mentioned how it is being contacted, and we discussed about the roles and responsibility of the company, the organization, to provide facilities and to maintain the facilities, and to also educate and train the workers, and to understand that there might be some infections, there might be some mammals, some bats that might be available existing in the workplace, and this can as well transfer diseases such as Ebola to workers. So they need to understand this existence and to put adequate control measures in place, put strategies in place to make sure that everyone understands these procedures and how to attend to every emergency situation on the work site. And we talk about these facilities, and we also spoke about workers following these safe procedures and maintaining good personal hygiene, and a number of toilets to be available on the construction site. We mentioned various diseases, and we talked about preventive measures, and we spoke about giving adequate tests before engaging workers to know their status. And today we will continue by discussing about the cleanup procedure. How do you make sure that everywhere is clean and tidy? No, this discussion is based on what? Other airborne diseases based on poor sanitation. There can be exposure based on poor sanitation. So that is what we are addressing in this discussion. Cleanup procedure: establishing bacteriological testing of droppings. What do you mean by dropping? In Yoruba they call it ibereku. The droppings, the urines, the faces of what? Of animals, of bats, of monkeys. They should be testing. But normally you should assume that every dropping that you see is infected. You don't need to stop yourself, so that you just put a procedure to assume that every dropping that you see is infected, and you make sure that everywhere is being cleaned regularly. Like I said here, establishing bacteriological testing of dropping before any cleanup is started. It is preferable to assume that all droppings are contaminated and to implement the cleanup appropriately. Spot tests resulting in negative results do not guarantee that all areas are not affected. If you do a test of a dropping and it comes out negative, doesn't mean that in another place there is no infection. So just assume that every dropping you see is infected, and you put on a procedure based on that overview. Rope off suspected contaminated areas and post signs denoting the areas as hazardous, restricted, or no entry. That is, when a particular location has been confirmed to have this have been infected, you should caution it off and make sure that nobody gets access to that location. Remember, those particles can suspend in the air. We are in construction site. There are dust around. Those dust can carry it and make it to suspend in the air, and anyone can inhale it. That is why you need to rope that area off. When work involves removing potentially contaminated soil, that is, maybe a particular soily area has been contaminated, like I said, we are dealing with what? Construction site. Implement chemical decontamination 2 or 3 days prior to annual removal. That is, you put on chemicals just such as formaldehyde. You put it, you soak the floor with it so that it will disinfect and disinfect the infection that is there, whatever has been infected. Sorry for that. By soaking the soil with it. So if you need my material for further information, you can actually ask me at no cost, like I do say in my presentation. Where ventilation system exists, shut them down. There's no need for ventilation at this point in time. You shut down every form of ventilation. Seal intake and output duct openings to isolate areas where contaminated dust is produced. What do I mean? There are some ducts, when they call duct, like air duct, that sucks in here. The entry point and the exit point should be sealed to isolate the areas where contaminant dust are produced. Because those air can actually go to another area, so it needs to be sealed, and there should be no ventilation. Remove old, potentially contaminated filters, properly bagged and sent for waste disposal. Any filters that you think that it has been contaminated, you properly keep them and you what send out for disposal. Where duct work exists, clean out debris. When you are doing duct work, when you talk about duct, we are talking about what, for example, when you talk about air duct, you're talking about what sucks in air. Yes. So anytime you have a duct in the system, and I'm talking about that air duct, it's not generalized. What we are saying here is that anywhere there is a duct, there should be what? There should be removal of what? Of any form of debris inside that system. Screen off any outside ventilation intake opening to prevent birds from re-entering. After doing the cleanup, you seal up everywhere to prevent what? To prevent birds or rodents or any other animals from entering. Gloves, preferably rubber should be used, since wetting procedures are used to suppress dust. You know, if you want to suppress our dust, we use water. So definitely you should use rubber and glove at all point in time. Rubber boots, since you are doing daily washing of the removal of debris. Debris can be they can be how can I call it? Debris can be waste materials from construction sites. Yes, you can actually classify debris under that. Respirators with a good conduction factor and the most efficient filter possible should be used. If you are using respirators to do your cleaning, those respirators should be what? Should be very good one. And remember, you said in our previous slide that every filter should be what? Be properly disposed so that it won't contact any other person. The respirator should be washed and contaminated and decontaminated at the end of every shift, as mucous membrane contact, especially in the eyes, can result in serious infection. So whenever you use a respirator to carry out the cleaning procedure, you wear a respirator to clean up a particular area that has been infected with the virus or with the pathogen, then those respirators should be what? Adequately cleaned completely. Post cleanup phase. After the cleanup, what happens? Individuals carrying out this aforementioned task must be provided with personal protective equipment, PPE, to avoid any health complications before, during, and after cannabis activities. Workers should be made to wear them at every point: the coverall, the gloves, and the rubber boot. A half-mass respirator with chlorine canister should be used if ventilation is reasonable. That is, if you have good ventilation in the wherever you are doing your, you can have a cleaning in a confined space. But when you are having a good ventilation, you can use a half mask that has a chlorine canister when there's full ventilation. But if the area is confined, like I said now, and large amount of chlorine solution are to be used, and you want to use a large amount of chlorine solution for your cleaning, then a full face air suppressed respirator should be what? Should be used. For use of control products, appropriate safety data sheets will be referred to. That is, when you want to use some products to what? To do your disinfection, then you should refer to what? To our SDS. Before it was MSDS, material safety data sheet. I know we all know that. If you don't know that, maybe you are not a professional. Then now it's called SDS. So these are the things that we learn gradually in the course of our discussion. Secondly, or thirdly, or fourthly, anyone, let's continue. Areas of work site contamination usually involve stone. Yes, construction site involves stone, old timbers, and old concrete. These materials are porous, sometimes resulting in the possibility of the presence of some residual contaminant materials remaining. Therefore, if the structure is to remain as is or as part of the renovation, further decontamination should be what? Should be put in place. Like all those holes, all those places that cannot be easily got into. If we still need those materials, there should be deep additional work, cleaning and decontamination, spraying and thoroughly soaking all contaminated areas, and washing all fixtures with hypochlorite (HYPO) solution will be introduced. Soaking them with hypochlorite solution will be introduced. For other sites such as bridges, when you have condensers in the bridge and around dams areas where there are dams, no contaminated materials must be put or dropped inside the sea, inside the marine environment, inside the ocean. It's very, very wrong. As part of our procedures as safety professionals, you should ensure that our marine environment is what? Is clean, and there's no dropping of any contaminants. There's no pollution of our marine environment. So I hope we enjoyed this episode of Safety Moment with this guy called Waliullah. Thank you for listening. Do ensure that you follow me on Instagram. We have a lot of topics here we are going to discuss. We still discuss a lot of topics, and we are going to drop it one after the other. If you want to get this video, kindly get in touch with me, or want to get this presentation, the soft copy, I have it with me at no cost. And you can also, if you are using the soft copy, you can actually click on this my YouTube channel and follow me at Safety World on Instagram at Safety World. Do enjoy to subscribe. Thank you very much.